I've been known to say time and time again that Nintendo would drop support for the 3DS family after the launch of the Switch. In fact, I've been known to say that the Switch would have backwards compatibility with 3DS games, and I still hold out hope for that. But Nintendo is acting as if the 3DS family is still alive and well. Doesn't having two portable consoles competing against each other create a conflict of interest? So out of nowhere, late at night, Nintendo announced the new 2DS XL. It is the sexiest DS design to date, although I could do without that textured backplate. I am so glad that Nintendo is finally realizing that nobody gives a shit about 3D. Instead of rendering my game twice, give me graphical power or cheaper hardware. This guy is retailing at $150, so half the price of a Nintendo Switch. But the Switch has been out for about 2 months. It's kind of weird to announce a new version of an old console when you have a hot new one to sell. What gives? I already found it strange that Nintendo had such a large slate of 3DS games still left in the pipeline. By my count, there are at least 25 games either coming out or still in development, including Fire Emblem Echoes, Hey Pikmin, and Monster Hunter Stories. Why would Nintendo dump so much time into the 3DS line when they have so much to gain from the Switch? Lots of consoles have a life after they've been made obsolete. The Wii had a Wii Mini iteration that was released just 1 month after the Wii U in Canada and 1 whole year later in North America. This is to provide a cheaper alternative for consumers. The purpose isn't to provide new games forever. It's to provide the already fantastic library at a cheaper cost. It makes sense to make these games accessible to more people. In the case of the 2DS XL, we're still seeing a lot of new games coming out. This segments the market. Developers want to cast as wide of a net as possible. Making them choose between 2 different platforms can be a huge issue. They're going to want to focus their time on the popular one. It's inevitable for the weaker console to be phased out eventually. The original 2DS was developed for kids. The 3DS's major flaw was that it posed major health risks to kids under 6 because their eyes weren't fully developed yet. The 2DS cuts out the 3D issue and puts the system in a slab form factor. Removing the hinge cuts out the part that's most prone to damage by dumb little kids. Yes, I worked at GameStop when the 3DS launched. This new 2DS XL might be designed for parents who don't want to get their kids something as expensive or breakable as the Switch. You know, that's not a bad strategy for Nintendo. Recent data revealed by Nintendo shows that the largest age demographic for the Switch is the 25 to 34 range, so it's important for them to have something that appeals to a younger audience. Or more importantly, their parents, so that they can buy it for them. So the problem or the struggle here isn't necessarily the hardware. The hardware is great. It's the software and the prioritization of Nintendo's product line. The Switch is doing fine with just the sales of Zelda and Mario Kart 8. It's said that Nintendo sold more copies of Breath of the Wild for the Switch than Switches themselves. I think that's a major error in calculation, but still, wow. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is somehow Amazon's best-selling game of 2017, even though it's only been out for a weekend. Maybe it's people like AJ who accidentally bought the game 3 times in order to play it at midnight. But if you ask anybody why they don't have a Switch or what's their biggest gripe with the Switch, they will say that the software lineup is lacking. From the perspective of Nintendo, it's not. They put a lot of time into these big games, and you can spend a lot of time playing these big games, because they're great. From the perspective of the prospective consumer, it is, because the numbers just aren't there. 2 major games looks a whole lot smaller on paper. This new 2DS hardware also flies in the face of people who think that Nintendo canceled production of the NES Mini to ramp up production of the Switch. More hardware doesn't kill production of more hardware. More software does kill production of more software, and the Switch could definitely use more software. This is the struggle you have to deal with if you run a major business. Appeal to as many people as possible, have something for everybody, and don't spread yourself too thin. It's a hard thing to balance. Personally, I'm in the mindset of only wanting to play my one new toy. If something came out for the PS4 or the 3DS, I say shoot. I wish that came out for the Switch, as if it'd be impossible for me to play it otherwise. But I know I'm not everybody, and I know not everybody has a Switch. Even though shipments have been pretty decent for a new console. I guess this is just me being needlessly selfish. I don't want to pick up my 3DS anymore, so I only want Nintendo to develop games for the Switch. There is some merit to the argument that the Switch could do even better with more software support, and that going all in now will only speed up the success of the console. But again, it's a balance issue. It's understandable for Nintendo to not want to put too much effort into one platform. I'm just saying that they probably could. But hey, neither one of us are CEOs of a major corporation now, are we? Are we? Call me if you are. So what do you guys think about the new 2DS XL? Was it a smart idea for Nintendo? Is it smart that they keep making games for the platform? And do you still play your 3DS? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter, all of this other social media garbage. There are new videos every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday nights is Wulff Den Live. Join us for the live podcast at 9 p.m. And afterwards, I stream on Twitch where I draw the thumbnail for that week's Wulff Den Live. And I just became a Twitch affiliate. Which means eventually I'll get a little sub button and you can get a little emote. So watch me on there, support me on there, just follow me. Just give me a follow. I also stream myself drawing commissions and stuff. I'm trying to do more of that. There's also new videos on Saturday, the backlog. I forgot about the backlog. Sorry, backlog. And I know I talked a lot about how the Switch's library is seemingly lacking, but here I have a video on a bunch of games you can play right now on your Switch. A lot. There's actually a lot of good quality games. And here's a playlist of all my other stuff on the channel. Thank you guys very much and have yourselves a good week.